different types of task 1. Now we're going to talk more about it. It says, all right, when it comes to task 1, there are a few rules you need to pay attention to first. The first rule is you're required to write 150 words minimum that we said. And also you're going to face a penalty if you write fewer than 150 words. So you're going to lose a score if you do so. Therefore, you should try to write at least 150 words. And I will tell you, it will be difficult for you to get a higher score if you're only writing 150 words, as I said before. Do you remember? So you need to write more than that. So you probably will need to write 200 or 210 words. It's not that hard to get a higher score. I mean 7.5, 8. So if you want to get a regular score, 6 or 6.5, you can write lesser than that. It's okay. Yeah. اونم خوبه. No. If you lose the parts, yes. For example, you need to write an overall for that. If you don't write the overall because you wrote too much, so you will lose your score. So for task 2 writing, it's larger. It needs 250 words minimum, and it's 2/3 of your score. So it has kinda more score. It is more effective to your general score. So it says that it's worth twice of task 1. So you need to reconsider your thoughts and about task 2. Now we're focusing on task 1. How are the marketing? So the marketing is so important here. This is how we get band score 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have the marketing and band score 5 and 0, and we're gonna explain more about that. But therefore, this is a sheet that is given to the students, not the examiner's sheets are kind of different. So for example, band score 7, we have task achievement, cohesion that we're going to talk about, lexical resources and grammatical range and accuracy. It is so important. We're going to talk about that. For example, for a band score 9, generally, it says fully satisfies the requirements. What are the requirements? For example, covers the requirements of task. It says presents a clear overview of main trends. So if you want to get band 7, you need overview and also the main trends. Okay? And also it says presents a clear purpose. So you need to state your overall statement here. And also it's a consistent and appropriate language. Consistent. It means all the words should be kind of in one context connected. Clearly presents and highlights key features, bullet points, but could be more fully extended for the band score 8. This is for task achievement. So for task achievement, you need to present your idea, overall, the trends, and support the trends, and you need to have a summary of an idea. It should be clear to understand. Okay? And also for cohesion and coherence, it says logically organizes information and ideas. Okay? What do you mean logically? Do you remember I told you, for example, when you look at you see the lines and classification, so this is the logic behind it. You create a logic behind your writing. So you shouldn't write something like just report the data. If you report the data and say this much, this much, this much, it's not connected. It's not logical. You need to classify the data. Okay? Suppose that I'm not looking at the graph. You should explain it like the way I don't look at it and I can understand it yet. Right? And also it says uses range of cohesive devices, as we talked about, cohesive devices, connecting words, and also when we want to present first, second, third, for example, for the process. Okay? For the lexical resources, uses sufficient range of vocabulary, of course, uses less common lexical items, less common, not, the first 500 words are very common. So you can say increase, increase, increase. But other than increase, you can use other less common words. Okay? For example, what? Like if it's sharp, you can say soar, to soar. Okay? If it's actually a downward, you can say movement. You can say what? Downward movement. Decrease. Other than decrease, we say decline. Okay, very good. Very good, very good. So less common vocab, you get a better score. Okay, more of that, better score. Nice. Okay, also, it says many produce occasional errors in word choice, spelling, and word choice. Spelling is also important. So if you have misspell, so you need to work on your typing skill. Okay, actually, you need to work on it. From now on, don't write down, just type down. Okay, so do that. So if you write something, so you get used to it completely and you write enough words and things possible, right? Cool. So get away from handwriting. Sometimes I need to handwrite something. I'm not sure of the spelling. When I use the handwriting, I actually recall the spelling. Sometimes it happens for me because I started with, yes, this is called muscle memory, your nerves, and so it sometimes helps you. When you write down the word, you remember the spelling, okay? This is something scientific. But, you can work on your typing, so also you need to, when you finished, so it's not like you have 20 minutes, you have 20 minutes of writing. It's not like that. You have 5 minutes of reading questions, 5 minutes of thinking and grouping the data, as I said, making organized model of what you have, and also writing down your ideas for task 2 or task 1, whatever you want to do. So 10 minutes of that. Also, you need 5 minutes of reviewing, spelling reviewing, grammar reviewing, things like that. So you have 10, 15, you have how many? So that's it. So you have 10 minutes of writing. Main writing is 10 minutes. So you need to type fast, okay, if you want to get into it. Very good. So it says for the grammatical point, grammar range and accuracy, it says uses a variety of complex structures. Do you remember complex structures? Simple, compound, complex structures. And also produces frequent error-free sentences. Frequent error-free sentences. If you're writing a conditional sentence, it should be error-free. Has good control over grammar and production, but may make few errors. So even in band score 8, you're exposed to some errors. So it's okay. You can make some mistakes. That's totally fine. Okay? As long as it is understandable, it is fine. Sometimes it's some errors that you have, it's okay. So you don't need to be strict on yourself. I should write down it kind of in the best possible way so you lose your time. You should create a balance between your kind of pace of writing. In speaking, it is fluency. But in writing, it is pace of writing. Okay? So you need a pace. What is the pace? Pace is moving per hour. Okay? So it's actually, you need to kind of keep the balance. In speaking, you need to keep the balance within your fluency, ups and downs. I'm not talking. Yes, very good. Ups and downs and moving smoothly from general idea to detailed or vice versa or whatever you want to do. Okay? But in writing, you need to create a balance. If you don't create a balance, you get stuck easily. So you write one sentence and you don't know if you wrote the grammar correct or not, and you look back at it and you stick with it, and your mind is just, occupied with that all the time. You don't know what to do, and when you get to, you don't get to the end, simply. You lose time. So this is the work of repetition. So you need to repeat, you need to write several kind of task once so you get the kind of pace, right? You need a standard, you get to a standard pace. So this is what generally it is. So we're going to talk more about it. Generally, I explained that. So we have 4 criteria here. We have task achievement, coherence, cohesion, lexical resources, and grammatical range and accuracy. Each of them has a quarter of your score, okay? So task achievement, we talked about it. You need to write kind of, we're going to talk more about it. And coherence and cohesion. Lexical resources are the vocabs, but we're not only talking about vocabs. We're talking about collocations, the structures, words that go together. So task achievement, what is task achievement? This is how well you fulfill your job. How well you describe something. How much information you have included, how you have selected information. So do you remember I said select the trends and things like that, right? Okay. And that you put in your writing and write at least 150, at least. I said for the minimum. So coherence, cohesion, what is it? It says how well you organize your information, organization, and using the vocabs to organize, and how well it flows from beginning to the end. Flows. خب ببین نگاه کن smooth باید باشه، باید حرکتت نرم باشه. اگه حرکت رباتیک باشه، الان اینو گفتم، بعد اینو بگم، بعد اونو گفتم، این درصدش این میشه، این درصدش این میشه، مستقیما بخوای همونو تکرار بکنی یا فقط درصد بدی، خیلی از زبان آموزا این کار میکنن. یعنی نگاه میکنی برگ درصد اصلا چیز نیستش، description نیست. description یعنی اینکه بگی کدوم اریا بزرگترین اریا مثلا، خب و نسبتش به کوچکترین اریا چیه، که من اگه اونو ندیده باشم بگم آره مثلا منظورم آره مثلا گس بیشتر استفاده رو داشته، الان نوکلیر پاور بیشتر استفاده رو داره. حالا بعد که اینو گفتم میام با درصد سپردش میکنم. گس 70% بود، خب به جای 70% چی میتونم بگم؟ به جای 60% چی میتونم بگم؟ 6 دهم، 3 پنجم، اینا فران، درسته؟ خب اگه ریاضیم درست باشه مثلا به جای 25% میگم کوردر. خب میگم اول 70% بوده، الان شده کوارتر، دیگه نمیگم 25% بوده، پس لنگویج هم تاثیر داره. خب پس این شد. پس الان برام تصور ایجاد شده که گس بیشترین بود، من که دارم میخونم به عنوان اگزامینر، بعد از 70% شده 25%. پس خیلی برام من واضحه. پس اول ایده تو بده، بعد سپورت کن با دیتا. همیشه این چیز باشه. میگی که این نقشه از یک شهر صنعتی تبدیل شده به شهر رزیدنت. From industrial to what? Industrial to commercial. حالا تجاری یا residential. خب it has turned through the time, through decades, from an industrial area to a commercial area. بعد توضیح میدم چرا این حرفو زدم من، چرا از اینداستریال. میگیم خب 4 تا فکتوری اینجا بودن دیگه، تو قسمت شمالی نمیدونم علی آباد جنوب مثلا دیگه نیستن، الان به جاشون چیه؟ مثلا 4 تا شاپینگ سنتر هستش. این میشه اون گروپینگی که باید تو ذهنت باشه. این میشه رایتینگ درست. از رایتینگ هم اصول داره، باید یادت باشه. پس میشه how well it flows. The flow is important. You get it? You get it? You get it? Very good. Lexical resources. We said that this means vocabulary generally, as I said. This is how much vocabulary you use, how varied, accurate, appropriate you are with your vocabulary, how comfortable, to be honest, with your vocabulary. چقدر راحتی باش. And spelling errors will hurt your score definitely. Misusing words, repetitive words. Also, if you say sales increasing, it's wrong. Instead, you must say sales increased. Okay. خب دیگه ادجکتیو اشتباه استفاده کردی. یه پوینت وکابل ازت کم میشه، یه پوینت گرامر. خب حالا واسه یه وکاب که نمره ازت کم نمیشه، ولی اگر این غلط رو دوبار داری توی پترن انجام میدی، اشتباه کنی، قطعا ازت کم میشه. چرا؟ من میگم که پارت آف زبان آموز، به عنوان اگزام پارت آف اسپیچ رو تشخیص نمیده. اگر این کلا تشخیص ندادن باشه نمرت 4. اگر پارتلی داری 50-50 میگی نمرت 5 ممکنه بشه. خب اگر که داری ولی یه ارورایی داری، بعضی موقع به جای ادجکتیو مثلا increasing و confusing و amusing رو با هم قاطی می‌کنی، مثلا اون موقع مثلا من میگم خب نمرش بعضی موقع مثلا یه دونه مثلا اشتباه گفتی، خب میگم نمرش مثلا 6 هم هست، مثلا اگه اشتباه خیلی کم داشتی توی هفته. پس میگم یه پترنی باید ایجاد بشه. اگه پترن دیدم همه جملات ساده است، میگم خب این دیگه خداحافظ، این دیگه گرامرش، حالا هر کاری هم بکنی، هر کاری میگه، هر حرکتی میگه، ولی چون جملاتت همش ساده است، تو بند اسکور 5 دیگه نهایتا 6. خب تو بند اسکور 5 یه 4 تا کامپلکس هم به کار بردی ولی غلط داشت، میگم تو بند اسکور 6. این گرامر این شکلی. پس من اگزامینر اینو ازت میخوام. اوکیه؟ متوجه چی میگم؟ اینجوری بعد بدونی اگزامینر چی ازت میخواد. اون موقع دیگه میای چنل میکنی. خب تو بلدی اینا رو. الان من ازتون پرسیدم، همتون گرامرها رو بلدید تا حدود زیادی، همه رو خوندید، یعنی امکان نداره نخونده باشید، ولی باید اونا رو چنل کنید به سمت درستی. Okay, so grammatical range, it is obviously, this means are you making grammar mistakes and are you using complex sentences structures if you're just doing the same structure over and over, as I said. Remember? So you're making a pattern. You're making a 5-score pattern, band score 5. Sales fluctuated and then sales plummeted. Okay? So different vocab, so better, less common vocab, as we said. Your grammar is accurate, but you're giving me just past tense. فقط داری past میگی. گفتن used to هم استفاده کن، از past استفاده کن، comparative رو استفاده بکن، past perfect استفاده بکن. اوکی؟ بعد از یه رنج پست استفاده کن. ما فقط یه استراکچر پست نداریم، کلی استراکچر پست داریم. اگه بدونیم ما چند تا استراکچر فیوچر داریم، کلی استراکچر فیوچر داریم، پس میتونی خب فلکسیبل باشی، نمره 8 بگیری، 7 بگیری، میتونی نه less flexible باشی، نمره 6 بگیری، و میتونی not flexible باشی، نمره 5 بگیری. Okay. So what you should be doing, task 1, you should practice regularly, band 7, band 8 for task writing. It is very achievable because the language used in task 1 writing is very narrow. It is the truth. So if you do a lot of samples, and if you study, and if you have kind of, the language in mind, you easily will get that. Okay? Unless you're not good at English. And I don't suppose you're not good at it. I suppose you're fairly good at English. Okay? So, and you're very limited. IELTS is a game after all. It's a game. It's a game of language. How fluent you are in the actually language. It is a test. That's exactly a game. It's a system for gaining points and losing points. So, and there are some rules to test. Therefore, you need to be sure to understand the rules. First, understand. What did I say? I said understanding the question. The first step to answer a question is to understand the question.